In this sneak peek, we hear a story of how one child found success, found mental healing through the Halo Project. Cindy Lee and Amber Givens share a story of a sweet little girl who had struggled for many years and who finally found freedom. Give names or anything, but do you have like a special story that you could share, Amber or Cindy, of a child or two that is, or an adult that's gone through your program? I mean, I'm sure you have thousands of them. But.
Yeah, absolutely. The one that comes to mind is actually a shared story with Cindy and I. And so I think this is probably the best one to pick. But long ago, when I was working for another organization, we were working with kids in the welfare system in foster care and their birth families. And so our job was to help train parents or teach parents how to, take care of their children in safe and healthy ways. And so what we found was that, well, number one, it was really hard work and that we were ill-equipped. And so unfortunately, this one family came in, and it was a dad and his daughter, and she was in foster care, and he would come weekly to try to learn how he tried to learn parenting skills. And we tried and we tried and we tried, and we just showed up week after week after week. And unfortunately, we just didn't have what he needed. And eventually his rights were terminated. And so this little girl ended up in foster care needing to have permanency. And so the foster family that she was with decided to adopt her, and she was about 4 at the time. And we tried really hard to meet her needs. And so if you can imagine coming from a place of great harm where you're not sure who's going to take care of you, you're left alone, like in your crib in the dark for days, like it's a very hard place to be for a child, and not knowing, like, am I going to be safe? Who can I trust? Am I going to be harmed again? What's happening with my life? And so this little girl, she had kind of 2 responses. She would either have massive temper tantrums or a stress response where she would cry and hit and kick and just be completely dysregulated. And then, or she would freeze. So she'd completely go offline. She'd freeze. And she wouldn't move, and you could hardly, like, she was almost holding her breath, and she was just such a scared little girl, and nightmares and problems connecting with people and problems trusting people. And so we worked and we worked and we worked and we worked and we tried to do our best. But again, we didn't have the tools at the time. And so it just kind of got to a point where the family said, well, I think you've done what you can do for us. Like, we're not really seeing a whole lot of progress. And so we're going to go ahead and leave and discharge. And so that family left. And it was just another one of the stories of we didn't meet the needs of the clients that we were serving. And so it feels very hopeless to have compassion and a heart to help people and then not have what you need to make that happen, right? So this happened over and over and over again. And eventually I got pretty discouraged, and I decided to go into private practice. The work was hard, and I didn't have the tools, and eventually met Cindy. God orchestrated a meeting in the hallway of a church where we were both presenting. And I had a child that we had adopted at the time that was really struggling.